Binary code is as easy as 1, 1, 0, 1. Hey guys, what is going on? So I was surfing through a lot of the YouTube comments and I actually found one from a month ago, and he said, you should tell us what cops think about hackers. Now, first and foremost, let me put it out there that I probably have a much different opinion than a lot of cops do about the general hacking community, if you will. Hackers have gained this dark criminal reputation because of TV shows, because of movies. Hollywood has associated the word hacker with something bad. But without hackers, we would not be the society that we are today. If you want to get technical, the term hacker actually means someone who is considered highly skilled on a computer and is able to overcome a problem. Definitely not as exciting as Hollywood makes it sound, right? If you were to ask the average person to draw what they think their idea of a computer hacker is, most people would draw some glasses-wearing nerd in some dark basement typing on a screen with green letters flashing all over the place. And again, that's because of Hollywood. Look at movies like Swordfish or The Matrix. People have this preconceived notion of what hackers look like. Another funny thing, if you go to Google Images, for instance, and you type in computer hacker, look at the images that pop up. The images that pop up are hilarious. You're probably going to find someone wearing a ski mask, typing on some dark keyboard with light up keys, and there should be some sort of code in the background. And just as an example, let's take a look at this image. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. This is an image that is actually used to illustrate a hacker. Most people that see this image would not give it a second thought. Not I, however. I'm sorry, but I think it's hilarious this dude is typing HTML. HTML is used to create web pages. It's used to customize fonts, to place images in there. It's used to build websites. My point is that this jackass is not cracking into some FBI database by making some photography portfolio website. Either the photographer has a funny sense of humor and he knows that only nerds are going to get that, or he really had no idea what he was doing whatsoever, and he was like, I don't care what kind of code you bring up, just bring up some code on the screen and we're going to take a picture of it. And most people don't know what actual penetration tools look like. Yes, I said penetration. I'll wait for you guys to finish giggling. The crazy thing is, it's not like that at all in reality. In reality, it's probably the well-dressed guy in the corner of Starbucks. Okay, maybe well-dressed is a bit of a stretch, but most of the time it's going to be somebody you would never expect. And here are some examples of some world-famous hackers. People you probably never would guess. Hacking is not what people think, though. If we didn't have hackers, we would not be where we are at as a society when it comes to technology. We wouldn't have iPhones. We wouldn't have different operating systems. Just like anything, hacking can be good, it can be bad. And generally, hackers are broken into three categories. You have white hat hackers, who are usually people that work for major corporations, and their job is to basically hack their own system and then fix whatever the problem is. Then you have gray hat hackers, and these are the people that are kind of curious, right? They want to test the water. They're not really there to do any damage. They just want to see if they can get inside. Then you have black hat hackers. The black hat hackers are the guys that you're seeing on TV that are taking down things like the CIA website, that are messing with the FBI website. They're stealing all these Sony accounts. Those are the people that want to do damage. There's been a new term that's been born that's called hacktivism. And hacktivism is sort of this new age way of protesting. And I think it's people's way of getting the government's attention. And not just the government, but major companies. It's like, okay, if you're not going to listen to us out here on the sidewalk and hear what we have to say, we're going to shut down your entire computer system until you hear what we have to say. With modern day society being so reliant on technology, it only makes sense that people would use that technology to get their point across. Let's take the hacker group Anonymous, for instance. Now, I know I'm going to be highly criticized, probably majority by cops, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say I actually support a lot of the things that Anonymous stands for. I don't agree with everything. There are certain things and leaks and stuff like that that I don't agree with, but it's no different than your favorite politician. You might not agree with everything they say, but you like the overall idea. The general idea of Anonymous is to hold people accountable for their actions, and also to expose the corrupt individuals that are running the country. And I'm not necessarily just talking about government. Again, I'm talking about major private sector businesses. And like I said, I don't agree with everything they do, but I do think that they have good intentions a lot of the time. I won't even say most of the time, but a lot of the time, I agree with them. Guys, I know I'm going to get some hate in the comments section below. I can see it now. People are going to be like, oh my God, this cop supports criminals. The bottom line is that I support the group because they're trying to put the power back into the people's hands. Slowly, as the decades have progressed, it's like the people have less and less of a voice, and major companies and government has taken over. And their theory kind of entails, well, if you're not going to let the people have the voice, then we will show you exactly how powerful we are. And no, I'm not talking about the hippie wearing the Guy Fawkes mask standing on some sidewalk that hasn't showered for 5 days. I'm not talking about that dude. I'm talking about the people that actually have an impact. When you rely on computers to run traffic grids, oil pipelines, nuclear systems, there's always going to be a handful of people that cannot be stopped. There is absolutely no way to fully proof anything when it comes to the digital world. And there's other groups out there. There was a group called LulzSec that was around for a while, and I didn't agree with what they were doing. They were just doing destructive shit. They didn't actually stand for anything. They were just being destructive just because they could. And it's funny because, you know, I've spent my whole life on a computer basically. So, you know, you always get the same questions, people asking you crazy stuff, just crazy stuff. And one of the biggest questions I get from people is, are you a hacker? And I never really know how to answer it, because I think the more important question to ask is, if I was, would I tell you? The thing about computers, and I'm sure anybody that has any sort of knowledge of technology can agree with this, it seems like for every one thing you learn, you figure out that there's 10 things you knew nothing about. So I don't like to label myself as somebody that is knowledgeable or an expert in any one particular area. I like to consider myself well-rounded when it comes to anything with computers. I know a little bit about programming, I know a little bit about graphic design, I know a little bit about penetration testing with like Kali Linux, or back when I was doing it a lot, it was still called Backtrack. I think part of my problem is that having ADD my whole life, it's very hard for me to focus on one single task. For me, I am very much that person that is, instead of learning step 1 to 100, I want to learn step 1 to 5 and move on to the next subject. Whenever they give me a task in CID, a lot of times it is cyber related now. And they know, they are starting to figure out that I have this routine. If you see me with my earbuds in, leave me alone. Because if my earbuds are in, I'm jamming out, I'm getting work done, I'm getting whatever information I need to gather, I'm organizing it, I'm mapping, whatever I need to do. I am in my zone, and I do not like being broken from that. And it's funny because I heard one of the other investigators the other day. I just happened to be in between songs, so I could hear what he was saying through the earbuds. He was talking about me, and he's like, I don't understand how he can stare at a computer screen all day long. And by this time, I had literally been sitting in the exact same spot, typing on the computer for 5 solid hours without a break. I love it. I love the opportunity to be doing something on the computer, especially if it's helping solve a case. When I finish on whatever project I'm doing and I hand it over to a supervisor, or I hand it over to another investigator that's handling the case, and they look at it and they're like, holy shit, dude, you did all this? That's an extremely good feeling, and that makes that 5-hour stretch completely worth it. Because I had fun. I have my air conditioning blowing on me. I got a little like fan at the table. I guess it's not air conditioning, but it's a fan. I'm typing away. I've got my music going. I am in heaven. That is what I love doing in CID. So guys, my time is running up on my camera. I just wanted to say, again, I know I'm going to get flack for this, but yes, I do support a lot of what Anonymous does. Funny hearing somebody working for the government say something like that, but that is my opinion. Well guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below and I'll try to answer them in the next video. Don't forget to sign up on the forum, and there will be a link for that in the description below, along with a link to the Discord chat. Thanks again, and I will see you soon.